a document I prepared here, and these are some of the problems I want us to look into about how many? Seven? Eight of it. Okay, eight of it. It'll be interesting. So let's just go into the business of it. So number one, we have a basic calculator. Now, also note that everything you are going to be doing here will be using the concept that we've learned from the beginning of our C programming, which includes data type and variables, conditional statements, and loops. Basically, that's the concept we're using. We won't go out of it. That's what I always try to do, that whenever we learn a particular thing, we should try to apply it in whatever we do. So the first one I have here is basic calculator. So let's see how we could write a basic calculator. Okay, let's set up my workspace. So I'll go back to my online compiler. Okay, if at any point you have a question, please just note down your questions. When I give the chance to speak, when I give the chance to speak, you just click on this button here, and then I will give you the chance to speak. Okay, because if you interrupt me at any point, I may forget what I was trying to say. Please, let's try to organize ourselves. Okay, so we want to write a calculator. Of course, in a calculator, we usually have different functions like the addition, subtraction, multiplication, addition, and square root and all that. But today we are writing a basic calculator, which means we just want to have 4 basic functions, which are addition, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. Right? Now, you've learned about functions from ALS, but we've not done functions yet. So I would have said, let's write a calculator using functions, but no, let's not go into that. Okay, let's just only use the concept we know already from what we've been doing on our own end. Okay, so let's start. And of course, to perform a particular operation in the calculator, we need at least 2 numbers. Okay, so I'm going to declare those 2 numbers. Excuse me, let me change my mic. I'm giving me issues. Okay. Okay, so we're going to have, let's say, num as the first number, and then I'll have another. Okay, let me not use int, because the user may want to do 20.5 plus 1.5, right? So in this case, we are going to use double. You can use float, but I want to use double for a reason, because double is more precise than float. So I will say double, and it could. Number 1, and of course, our user is 1. So we'll prompt our user for numbers and say, enter first number. It could be anything, enter first number, semicolon, and then we use our scanf to collect the input. And since it is a double, it is LF, right? And then of course we know ampersand sign, and then num dot num. That is our first input. And then you could take the input at once, like both of them, but I want it to be very precise that once you enter the first one, you get another prompt to enter the second number. So here I would say second number, enter second number, then I will change this to num1. So we have taken our input now. We have 2 inputs. So just to be sure our code is run correctly, I will end here, and then comma, sorry, not the LF. LF. Here I'm just trying to test my code to be sure that what I just did now is going to work. So I'll just print that. So let's see if my prompt works. So it gave me 2 and 4. That means just this, what I wrote here is correct. So I'll just comment this out. Okay, so what are we going to do next? We've entered our numbers. What operation they want to do? That is the addition, subtraction, and multiplication or division. So in this case, we are going to prompt will be easier for, should I call it sign or symbol, anything you want to call it. I think sign sounds nice. Sounds nice. So excuse me. Print F. What operation do you want to perform? Then semicolon. Then we use our scanf. Taking the input, and of course I declare it as a string, so sorry, as a character, so it's going to be modulus. Yeah, so I'm going to say sign. Okay, so I've gotten the operation I want to, but I could go on and write to the user and say enter this sign, that sign, but I'll just leave it here. What operation do you want to perform? So do I either enter plus, minus, division, subtraction. So I've gotten what I needed for this, right? So the next thing now is to declare my conditional statement that will help me perform. So the first statement is if, now this is how it's going to be. If this operation, what the user enters in operation is addition, it should do this. Else, if it is subtraction, it should do this. Okay, so that is how we are going to do that. So if sign equals what? Of course, it's the character. Now let me clear out on something, that this symbol is not a number. It is seen as a character. That is why I declared it as a character. Yes, sign. So those are special characters. They are characters. So you cannot declare it as an int. It is not an int. A character. Ints are whole numbers. So if sign equals addition, what should happen? What should I say should happen? I would just say print F, the sum of LF, modulo LF, and sum of LF. Okay, let me just say sum of LF plus modulo LF equals, okay, that sounds better, LF, right? The first LF here should be none, right? So I will say none. The second should be num1, and then the third one is going to be num plus num1. Yes, that is that. So we could test our code. Now let's note this. We know how this works, that the way you declare it in sequence, that is how you should write it out here. So the first one is num. The second one is num1, that is num plus num1. And then the third one is num plus num1. You could have declared maybe a variable and give it the addition of this, maybe result. And then in this place, you just write result. But in this case, I just want to perform everything in one line. Okay, so let's test this and see if it works. So I'll run my code. What operation do you want to perform? I will say plus, addition, and then I hit enter. Ask more, enter your first number, I will say 4. Enter your second number, I will say maybe 5. Sum of 4.000 plus 5 is 9. So that means our code runs perfectly. But you know, we could format this. That is why it is called format specifier. We could format this to how many decimal places we want. So in that case, I believe we know how to do this. So after the modulo, we'll say, let me format it to 2 decimal places. See how simple this is. Very interesting. So let's run our code again and see if our addition works. Plus, enter first number. Let me enter a number very big, 109. Because I'll just say 110. So the sum of 109 plus 1 is equals to 110. So our program here works successfully. So let's continue to add the others. So I will say else if, remember our else if statement. Else if sign equals minus, what should happen? We will say printf, the sub of modulo LF. So we're going to use 2 decimal places. Modulo LF minus modulo L modulo 0.2 LF equals to modulo dot 2 LF, right? And then I'll say num 1, and then num minus num 1 with my semicolon. So let's test this again. Let's see. So what operation do you want to do? A number, let's say 8, hit enter. It's the subtraction of 9 minus 8 is 1. So our program works very well. Let me test it again with a negative number. I'll say, let's say I want to minus 10 from 8. Oh, see, minus 102. So our program here already works successfully. So, of course, this is, if I could, just to go on and do the multiplication and division, and we've gotten what we wanted. So we've gotten the idea of how this works. I will just stop it here. Okay, well, let me just finish it. I will not add the other functions. What I could add is else, print f, enter a value sign. Enter a value sign. Okay, let's say I have done for plus, minus, subtraction, and division with my else if. And then in my last clause of else, that means you know what our else is a default statement, meaning that if the if is false, it's going to the else if. If this is false, it goes into all the else if we have. If they are all false, our else is always going to be executed. So if the user did not enter an addition symbol, subtraction, maybe multiplication, division, if the user enters something like a dollar sign, you should tell the user that is please enter a valid sign, which means person symbol or sign was. Sorry, this is not good. Okay, what operation? Let's say, for example, I enter a modulo symbol. Then enter first number, that works. Enter second number. See, we have enter a valid sign because we have not declared a function for it in our conditional statement here. So I hope we understand that. That was easy enough. Do we have any questions on this? Want to take questions on this? It's simple enough, right? Do we have any questions? Okay, which means we understand it. So I'll just copy the code for us, and if you want to complete it, you could complete it, add the addition, add the multiplication and division. And you have a calculator to work. That's simple enough. So you could create that and start using your own calculator to do your simple arithmetic. Okay, that's not complete, but you get the idea. You can complete that. Okay, in the case of no questions, let's check the next program we have. We have multiplication table. That's a great one. Multiplication table. Who wanted to create a multiplication table? We know what a multiplication table is. So I'll go ahead and create it. Okay. Please, if your mic is on, help me mute your mic. Very good. Okay, so I'll just clear all of this. Let's just start from the beginning. So we want to create a multiplication table, right? Okay, so let's see how we could do this. So I've included my header file, and the next thing I just want to do is to since multiplication is always done with whole numbers, we might just want to declare with an int. Let me just use num. Int num, and then we also say int multiplier. I'm just shortening to mul. Right. So I'm not going to ask user for symbol because it's a multiplication table we are trying to do, right? So let me prompt my user for input. So I will say printf. Now what am I asking the user? I'm asking the user for the multiplication table they need. Okay? Yeah, maybe you want a multiplication table of 2 or of 3. That's 3 multiply 1, 3 multiply 2. So that's what I want to ask the user. So enter a number. Enter a number. Just enter a number. And then I'll scan F. Collect my input. It's going to be modulo D. What happens? I say ampersand was none. Right, none. Yeah, setting to none. Okay, so I've collected my inputs now. What else? I'm going to declare my conditional statement. So we could use a for loop, you could use a while loop, or whichever works for you. Yeah, you could use it. Okay, in the other one, our multiplication table, there's another way we could have done that using function, or we could have used, how do you call it, switch statement. So whichever way works for you, you could use it. You could also use ternary operator, as we learned in our if-else statement. Then it works for you, however way you want to do it. So in this case, I'm going to use a while loop to do mine. You could go on and use a for loop. Okay, so what am I trying to do here? Now I'm trying to define how long I want the multiplication table to be. For example, I could want from 1 till 12. I could want from 1 till 20, or 1 from 100. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do here. So I will say while multiplier, while mul, in this case is mul I'm using as my multiplier. That num is going to be the number I want, and this is like going to be the end of the multiplication. Okay, so let me initialize this to 0. Since I'm using a while loop, not a for loop. Okay, so while multiplier, let's say less or equals to. Remember when we do this, we want this is where it should start from, and this is where it should stop. So wherever we want it to stop, let's say, let me keep it at 12. It's moderate enough. 12. What should happen? This is what should happen. Very simple. While it starts from 0 and ends at 12, this is what you should be doing. You should print modulo D times modulo D equals to modulo D again. Yeah. So here we'll have num. We'll have num, and then we'll have mul, and then here we'll have num times mul. It's as simple as that. Keep it here. So this is for the num. That means, for example, the user enters 2, so it will be 2 times this, whatever comes inside of this. Remember, this is a loop, so it will just start from, say, it will start from 0, 1, 2. So this times this equals to num times mul. Okay, so let's just see how that works. So after this, of course, we need to increment our mul. If not, it will just give us that. So for every time we print this, we increment our mul by 1, right? That's clear enough. So I would say mul. There are different ways you could do this. Remember, I could say mul equals to mul plus 1. It works. Or you could just say mul plus plus. However you do it, it is incrementing it by 1. Okay, so I believe this is all we need. See how short it is to create a multiplication table. So let's run our program. So it says enter a number. Let's say I want a multiplication table of 5. Then I'll hit enter. See, we'll have 5 times this, that, 5 times this, that. But what happens? It is like on a single line. So what I could do is, where is it? Add a new line. For every time it prints this, it prints a new line, it goes into a new line. So let's run this again. I'm still going to use 5. So you see this, we have our multiplication table. So let me explain how this works. So why mul is going to start from here. This could have been used in a for loop, like for mul equals to maybe 0, more or less, or equals to 12. It's the same thing here. So mul is starting from 1. So while mul, so to come here and check, is mul less or equals to 12? Of course, mul is 0 in this case. This statement becomes true because mul is less than 12. It will print our norm, which is 5. Then it will print this sign I added here, multiplication sign, and then it will print our actual mul here, because that's what I added here, mul. So we have that, our equals to symbol, and then we have 5 times 0, which is num times mul, which is 5 times 0 equals this. And then what happens? We have a new line here, so it prints a new line and waits for the next prompt. And then mul is incremented by 1. So it goes back again and asks, is more, less, or equals to 12? Of course, it's less than 12. This statement becomes true. It does the same thing again. 2 times, 5 times 1, because more is now 1. And it goes on till more becomes 12. And then it goes to the next number, 13. And 13 is not less than 12 and it's not equals to 12. So this statement becomes false. And we have our loop terminated. So that is that. You want to test it with maybe a bigger number, like let's say 100, hit enter, because it still works. So that is a multiplication table. You could use your for loop. So I'll just copy this and paste in the comment section so you could maybe play with it or something like that. Paste. Okay. So before I move on, do we have a question concerning what we just did now? This is how we could use our concepts in real life situations. Anybody have a question? Okay, very good. That means we are cool. Let's go into the interesting ones now. Now we have this one here, candles. They said it is almost Hanukkah, and the store in your town is completely out of candles. You decide to place an order online, and you talk to your friends to see who else needs candles. How many candles should you order in total for the holiday? Somebody have a question there. Please, you keep your question. When I ask for it again, ask. So the task here is determine how many candles you need to order based on how many friends ask to join your order. Each friend will need 9 candles. Okay, so the input format is an integer that represents the number of friends that ask to order candles with you. Output format would be an integer that represents the total number of candles that you need to order. That means the total of your, if each friend, let me explain this, what this task is saying. It says that you want to order candles because let's say maybe it's a particular time of the season where you need candles, and then you need to order candle, and then you speak to your friends to know who also needs candles, and then your friends say they actually need, but each friend is going to need 9 candles. Okay, so the task here is you will take user input. User will tell you how many friends need this candle. Let's say we have 2 friends that need candles. Then you output how many candles you need to buy. So if 2 friends need candle, that means 9 times 2, 18, plus you, making it how many? 27 candles. So that's what this task is all about. Let's see how we could solve it. Okay? Okay. It's interesting enough, I know. Okay. Let my screen. No, let me play it. I love to start from the beginning. Okay, so what do we do here? Of course, I'm going to declare friends. Friends, you cannot have decimal friends. You have to be a whole number, right? So I'll keep that as an input. And then I'll say int candle is a constant here. The candle is always 9. So I love to use the first letter of our name here. Make it fun. Amanda. So I'm going to use A, small letter A. So I would say A equals to 9 because they said each friends are going to need 9 candles, right? So 9 is a constant here. Okay, so let's prompt the user for input to ask how many friends actually need the candles. So we ask how many friends needs candle, question mark, semicolon, then we'll scan F. Of course, it's an integer. Then we save it in the memory address of the friends. Then, so how do we get this? They said we should determine, okay, let's say 2 friends need candles. So we should determine the output of how many candles we need to buy. And each friend is going to need 9 candles plus you. Okay? So in this case, what do I do? I'll just go ahead and say, let's say int candles. Yeah, int candles, because candle is everything going to be a whole number. Should be equals to amount of friends, which is going to be friends. Sorry, which is going to be friends multiplied by A, that is by 9. How many candles we actually need? Plus you yourself, plus you yourself, you are going to be 9. So plus 9. So to make this more understandable, I will look parentheses to separate it. So that means how many friends we have times 9 is going to give us how many our friends need, plus how many you yourself is going to be, which is 9. Everybody's going to use 9. So we are going to print out our result, which is total candles to order should be modular B, and in this case it is candles. So let's see if our program works correctly. Let me go back to this document. The sample output was 4 friends, and the result should be 45. That is you, 4 friends, which is like 4 times 9 plus you. So let's go back, run our code. So how many friends need the candle? Let me check how many people need this candle right now. Amanda, AY, Felista, Speed Sound. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 friends need the candle. So I'll say 5. But our candle is 54. So that was simple. So let's try their own input. It's supposed to be 4 and then 45, which means our program works correctly. So that was easy enough. So you could maybe write a fun app that is going to do this, and it works perfectly. So I'll copy this code and paste for you, in case you also want to maybe tweak it a bit and make it your own. Okay, so the next one I'm going to ask now, I'm going to open the floor for somebody to contribute, because I think I've said enough. So okay, I'm supposed to also copy all of this and paste for you. In case you might want to also give it a try, maybe have it in your log. That was not complete. Copy from here. Okay, so for the next task, I'm going to give the room for somebody to actually say something. So I'll just copy it from here. Okay, so let's read it. Chair creator. It says you are cheering on your favorite team. Okay, and after each play, if your team got over 10 yards further down the field, you stand up and give your friend a high five. Please read and understand. Let me start again. You are cheering on your favorite team. After each play, if your team got over 10 yards further down the field, you stand up and give your friend a high five. If they don't move forward by at least a yard, you stay quiet and say shh. And if they move forward 10 yards or less, you say rah for every yard that they moved forward in that play. Okay, that sounds confusing. So the task is, given the number of yards that your team moved forward, output either high five for over 10, shh for less than 1, or a string that has a rah for every yard that they gain. So I will explain this so you understand. So let's see the input format. An integer value that represents the number of yards gained or lost by your team. So in this case, the output should be a string of the appropriate chair. So let's say your input is 3. Your output should be rah rah rah, because they said here that for less than or a string that has a rah for every yard that they gain. Okay, let me explain this. So they said you are cheering on your favorite team, and after each play you analyze let's say the scores. If your team got over, let's say they got over 10 scores, okay, you stand up and give them high five, which means you print high five to the screen if they got over 10 scores. Okay, let's say 10 and above. And then if they got something like less than 1, which means they actually lose, so you print to the screen shh. But if they get between 1 and 9, you are going to print rah according to how many of that scores they have. Let's say if they have 3, for example, you should print rah 1 to 3 times, just like this. If they got 4, you should have rah 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 rah. If they have 5, you should have 5 rahs. That is what this program is talking about. So I'll paste it here and ask for opinions how we could solve this. Let's make it quickly. Or a string that, okay, let me go back and copy the complete code. Or a string that has, or a string, I'll just copy from here. See how Okay. Okay, so please, who can help me out in this? It's simple enough that if you get 10 and above, you should print high five. If you get less than 1, you should just print shh. But if you get between 1 and 9, that means for every of those numbers you have, you should print ra according to how many numbers. So if I should have 3 as an input, I should have 3 ras. If I have 4 as an input, I should have 4 ras. If I have 9, I should have 9 ras. Who can help me here? Anybody? Let's see the concept you could implement here. Anybody? I want ideas to show that, okay, even if you cannot give me the idea for everything from beginning to end, but you could just pick a part of it, maybe the part that says high five, and give me how I could go about it. I'm going to call names. You know me, I could just open up this and call any name that comes into my mind. And most of my friends are here, so anybody, or should I go on and call names? Should I? Okay, if you want me to call name. John Ezekiel, please unmute your mic. Just unmute your mic. Okay. Hi, John. John? Okay, perhaps I've lost John there. I'm going to call another name, and the closest name I have to it is Folakemi. Folakemi, I want to hear from you. Unmute your mic. Fola, just unmute your mic. Okay. Hi,
my mic.
Okay. So tell me, how should I attempt this program I have here?
Okay. I think. Okay. The first thing is they're going to print high five for scores that are over 10, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
do like high five equals to greater than or equal to 10. Less than or equal to 10. High five less than or equal to 10.
Please tell me. You said I should write high five.
Yes, it's less than or equals.
Okay, high five is less than equals to 10. Okay. And what else?
Still got over 10 years further than it. Okay. Got over 10 years. That's okay. I think that should be greater than or equal to 10.
Okay, greater than. So, and what else?
Okay.
Let me go back to the program so you can see it. Okay, it says if you got over, let's say, 10 scores, you should print high five. If you got less than 1, you should print
yeah.
And then if you got between maybe 1 and 9, you should print ra according to how many of the numbers you have. Okay, so any ideas?
So ra is going to be ra is less than or equal to 10, right?
Ra?
Yes.
Okay, it's okay. Okay, it's okay. At least you're giving me an input. That's what I wanted. I wanted somebody to give me an input. Okay, so I'm going to ask another person now. The closest person to you two is Fitson. So Fitson, please help me out. Give me an idea on how I should solve this. Yeah, just even if it's one idea on how to solve the first part, second part, third part, I don't mind. Fitson?
Okay. Can you please open the question? Like, I'm trying to understand the question first.
Okay. Should I explain it again?
Yes, please.
Okay. You are let's say in a football pitch, right? And you're cheering for your favorite players. And then if at the end of the play your team gets, let's say, 10 score and above, you should print to the screen high five. All right. Then if they get below 1, that is less than 1, which means they actually lose, because if you get 0 and below, you lose. You should print to the screen. But if they get between 1 to 9, you should print ra according to how many of those numbers that, or according to their scores. For example, if they scored 3, you should print Ra, and then another Ra, and then another Ra. If they scored 4, you should have 4 Ras, 5. So this should just be between 1 and 9. But for scores over 10, high 5, less than 1, sh. Between 1 and 9, you should print Ra according to the scores. Okay?
Okay,
You now
so
understand?
yeah. So the first thing, I think we're going to use the else if condition. So the first thing we have to do, I think, declare.
Declare what?
So we have to actually declare the team.
Okay, we should declare the team. I should declare the team as a what? Character?
Character.
I should declare it as a character.
Yes.
Okay, I'm following your instructions now. Should I assign anything to it?
Yeah.
What should I assign?
Let's say A, any letter.
Okay, I'm assigning A to it. All right. What else should I do?
Okay, so you open your parenthesis after that. No. Enter, and then we start with the if condition. So if
If what?
If wait.
Okay. Okay, it's okay. Let me just cut. I'll cut us because of our time. Okay, but I like the input. That's what I wanted. I just wanted people to contribute. Okay, that's nice. So I will not call any more names. All right, till the next task we have. So somebody's raising their hands up. Okay, but I was calling name, but you didn't answer then. So you just hold on. Let me rush through this. In another one, you are going to answer. That's why I always call for names. Now you want to draw us back. So this is how this program should be. All right. So this is simple enough. We are going to use our if statement, and then we are going to use a for loop to print the Ras. Because remember, when you are printing something, values in a range, you always use a loop to loop through it and print them. But if you're having a choice of choosing particular option, you should use your if statement. In this case, I want an option that says if it is greater or equals to 10, you should print high 5. If it is less or equals to, or if it is less than 1, you should print sh. And then if it is between this number and this one, and then it should just give me ra. But we are going to use a for loop to iterate through this. So before you always answer this kind of question, it is good you analyze it and break it down into smaller. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to declare an integer that says score or scores. All right. So this is where I'm going to ask the user for the score. What did you score, or what was the score? When you tell me the score, I will then analyze it and give you any of these inputs, right? So that's simple enough. So I'm going to prompt the user for input and say, what was the score? What was the score with a question mark and then a colon, semicolon again, and then I'll scan F. The reason my score is an integer is because you can't say I scored 1.5. I mean, what will you play in that you score 1.5? Okay, so I have my score there. That is correct. So we'll have the if statement that says if score is greater than or equals to 10, print high 5. That was simple. If score greater or equals to 10, that was what they said, 10, what should happen? Just print high 5. Just display high 5 to the screen. And what else? What was another condition there? Another condition says if it is less than 1, you should just declare, say sh. So if score is less than 1, not less than or equals to, in this case less than 1, which means you lose. Okay, So what should happen? We just print to the screen. Don't know how many H they want us to put there. And then we have the next one here that says we should print RAS according to the score, right? So I'm going to use a for loop here to iterate through and print those RAS. So I'm going to start. I'll say for int. Remember, we could declare, define our variable and use it here, or you could just define it somewhere else and use it. So I'm going to use, no, let me not use I. Who spoke last? That was fitsum. Okay, that was fitsum. So I'll use F. For int F equals to, of course, equals to 1. That's where we'll start from. F less or equals to 9, right? No, score. Let's not use 9. Score. Right. So for F equals to 1 and F less or equal to score. Score here, if score here happens to be 9, then that's what we are going to have. And then we are going to give it a condition that says that and the score should be less than 10. Let me explain this. So we want to start from 1, all right, and check through till score. Let's say our score here is 11. Now, remember the AND condition, that the AND operator, both options you have on the both sides should be true before this statement is evaluated to true. So which means our score, after we check this, F less or equals to score, of course, less or equals to maybe 10 or 11. And then the score should still be less than 10 before whatever we are going to do here is going to be executed. So when I write the code, it will be explainable. We should print F ra, right? Ra with an exclamation mark, I believe. Yeah, ra with an exclamation mark. So that is all. So that means this is going to start from 1. When it will just start from 1, print ra, then goes in and check again. Sorry, I'm supposed to increment F by 1 so that our score will keep going up. So it will check for this. Is F equals to 1? Yes, of course. Depending, let's say our input was 11. Let me run this code first of all. Uh-oh. Okay, nobody told me this. This is modulo. This is AND. Okay, and then I'm supposed to have semicolon here. What else? That should be all for now. Okay, scan F and score. Okay, it's supposed to be and scores. Okay, which means here should be scores. Here should be scores. Okay, pardon me. What? In our if statement, we're still having score instead of scores. Okay, that was the errors, spelling errors. Oh my God, else if. Nobody noticed that. Okay, I'll run this code. What was the score? Let's say our score is 11 here, which means it's above 10, right? Hit enter, print high 5. Let me run the code. Let's say our score is below 1, which is like -4. Let's say the 1 was by 4 zeros. That means we have -4 goes behind. Hit enter. It says shh. Let me run the code again and say our score is between 1 and 9. Let's say in this case I have 5, right? I'll hit enter. You see we have 5 RAS. So this is how it works. So 5, right? 5 is our score here. So it will say is it will start from this. So it says is F equals to 1. Of course, F in this case is, yeah, this is what we started with F. F here is equals to 1. Okay, F here is equals to 1, right? And then we'll go into the conditional or the test expression. It says is F, which is 1, is 1 less or equals to scores. Scores in this case is 5, and 1 is less than scores. What will happen? It will also check the AND, the other side. So this is true here. And this has to be true for this whole test expression to be true. That is how the AND operator works. So it goes into the other and say, okay, and is score also less than 10? Of course, 1 is less than 10. So that means this expression is true. Then it comes inside of here and prints ra. That's this first ra we have. Then it increments our F by 1, f becomes 2. Now, is 2 less than scores? Of course, 2 is less than 5. And then it's also just checking, and is score less than 10? Of course, 5 here is less than 10, right? What happens? This statement becomes true, and then it prints the next RAR. So it keeps going till we get to 5. All right. After printing 5, it increments to 6, and then it goes here. F equals to 6, right? Now, is 6 less than scores? Of course, 6 is not less than score, and it's not equals to score because our score is 5. So this is false already. It will not even bother to check the other AND part, because this is already false. Remember, this 2 has to be true before this statement or this expression is considered to be true. So whenever the first one is false, immediately it will end the loop here. So that's how we got to have only 5 RARs here. So you see how simple that was. Let me test the code again. So let me just have like 9 RARs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now you could also have spaces in between the RARs. Remember that. Just add space here and you run your code. I say 8. You see that 8 RARs. So that is that for that program. I hope we've learned from the program already. So I'll just highlight and copy in case we want to make use of program. Okay, that's complete. Okay, so before I move on, is there anything that I have used here that seems strange, that we don't understand? So I could okay, Cargo, please ask your question. I hope I pronounced your name well.
Yes, you did. So it's not strange, but I just wanted to understand. Is there a possibility that you use else statement? Because you did that here, so I just wanted to know that.
Okay, else statement. I because I'm working with numbers, and I declared that if my score is greater than 10, which means from 10 to infinity, as far as it is greater than 10, it should give me high 5, right? So I don't have another condition for where it should stop above 10. And then I have my else if that says as far as it is less than 1, which means till infinity, as far as it is a negative number, it should give me sh. Okay, so I don't have a condition that I should give a default statement. All right, so that's why I didn't use it.
Okay. All right. That's what I get to understand. Thank you.
Okay, so any other questions or any confusion based on what we just finished? I believe we use the concept we've learned through this week. Let me open our repository so we could see the concept we've done this week. Okay, so before I move to the next task there, let me open our repository. I'm sure most of us, we've known about our repository, C Programming Tutorial, where all our lessons and tasks are in. This is it here. Okay, so this is all our lessons. So we started with introduction to C, data types, variables, format specifiers, comments, and escape sequence, operators, conditional statement, which has if, else, and else if, then loops, for loop, while loop, and do while loop, and then we did ternary operator, which is still under conditional statement. So this is what we have used to solve all these tasks we have done. So if there's anything that seems strange to us, please feel free to ask so that I will clarify us and we'll move to the next task. But so far, I believe everybody understands. Okay, please ask a question.
Hi, thank you. So the question is not based on what we've been doing, but I remember from a previous lesson, you had said that you'd run us through ternary operators again.
Okay. You should have told me from the beginning, but let me just...
Sorry, I joined late.
Okay, it's okay. All right, let me just take us through ternary operator. So I'll just zoom in here so we could see it clearly. Okay, please, is this clear enough?
Yes, thanks.
Okay, very good. So ternary operator. So ternary operator is basically a short form of writing the if-else. It's very, very simple. then it could be complex when you start to nest it instead of having a ternary operator instead of like you have if statement instead of if statement. So we use the ternary operator for let's longer if and else argument. First upon true and is the result upon false comparison. So practicalize now and let's try it. So this expression. I don't know what expression means. Okay, you could be checking for if a number is less than that. That's the expression. If a number is equal, or if equal this and all this and that. Those are the expressions. And then you have a question mark after the expression. All right. Then this is valid. This condition is true. This is what's it. So have write a function. We call it function here, function here, or whatever you want. If this is false, you check it, and this is your false clause. If this is false, just practically copy this to our compiler so we can see how it works. Learning this. Okay. No, this saving it. I'll clear these two. Paste. See how it works. So as remember, just write a program that checks for this scores. Less than 80, you're not eligible. If it is less than 80, you are eligible. Let's use. I'll just assign it here instead of having to declare user input or asking a user input. So what is going to be my condition? My condition is going to score less than 80. Right? What should come next? Question mark. It could be like this, but for the sake of readability, give a space. Value, if true, I will say print to the screen that you are eligible. You are eligible. Right? And then value if false, put my colon. Value if false, you print you are not eligible. Right? That is basically all for that. That is a ternary operator. So let's check. Score less than 80. Is score less than 80? If it is less than 80, print no. I should use greater than, since my true statement is you are eligible. If score less than 80, if it is less than 80, what should happen? You print you are eligible. But if this is false, this is the false clause. You should print you are not eligible. So let's run this code. What happened? Before token. Expected for token. What did I do wrong? Sorry, which means I also have the same error. Yes, that's all. No, this is wrong. Okay, run my code again. Come on, somebody check for me. Score greater than 80. Expected. Oh God. Okay, so it says you are not eligible. No, that is okay. You are not eligible because score here. Okay, let me just make this a user input so that it will be more fun. Printf, enter your score. I love to keep a space here to that. Then we just scan F. And F. So what score could be a double here, but let's just use integer here because we already understand what we're trying to do. Okay, so let the user enter the score. So let's say I scored 78. because it is less than 80. It should give us you're not eligible. So you see, I'm not eligible. Let me enter 81 to see if I will be eligible. You are eligible. So that is how the ternary operator works. So this is the test expression, what you are trying to compare. So if this evaluates to true, this is what is going to be executed. But if it evaluates to false, this is what is going to be executed. Now I said you could, I'm just using the printf statement here for illustration purposes. You could have, maybe you could call a function here, depending on whatever you want to do. So based on what you're comparing, if there's a particular thing you want to happen here, you put it here. You could also store your what am I saying? You could store your ternary operator, the result, inside of a variable, and then you could use that to see if I run it now. You see, it will tell me enter your score, enter 5. Not still says you are eligible. Okay, because I'm using the print statement. But you could store your the result inside of a variable, and then you could then print it, or you could use it for something else. Let's say I don't have an illustration for that, but maybe I wanted to use the results for another block of code, right, inside of my program. So I could store it inside of this, and then somewhere else I could say maybe if something happened, okay, what should happen? Execute result, right? I'll just call on the result, or print result, and then printf because it's an int. I'll say modulo d, and then I'll go out and say result. Okay, so this is going to work. This also works. You could just go on and practicalize that. I could save, maybe I want to use my result in a later program. I could save it inside a variable and use it. So that is that for the ternary operator. Now you could also have a nested ternary operator, but we've not entered nested loops yet, I believe. So when we enter nested loops, then practically we are going to, maybe when we enter nested loop, we should be able to do nested ternary operator, where you have a ternary operator inside of ternary operator. Okay, so Gigalipi, so who asked me that? I hope you understand it now.
Yes, I do. Thank you very much.
Okay, very good. Okay, so anybody have a question before I have limited time here? Okay, so I think I have solved enough already. So I'll just leave the 1, 2. Oh, we still have much. I wanted us to do this number guessing game, but what do I need to create a number guessing game? You were introduced to a function, rand, seed rand, and rand max, but I've not introduced it to you then. This is what you could use to create a number guessing game. So I will suspend that because I don't want us to do something that I have not showed you yet. Okay, I don't want something to be abstract. So I'm going to give this from this task to us as homework for us to do. So I'm going to upload it to our GitHub. Yeah, we'll upload it to our GitHub. I'm going to name it Fruit Bowel, Popsicles, and odd and even. You want to take a list of numbers? Okay, let's do this one. Before we go, let's do this one, odd and even. It's a program that challenged me then, and I loved it. So let's do it. So this one says you want to take a list of numbers and find the sum of all of the even numbers in the list. Ignore any odd numbers. That's what I wanted to do here. Okay, find the sum of all even integers and sum of odd integers in a list of numbers. Wow. The first input denotes the length of the list. The next n. No, that's simple. That's too simple. Okay, I'm going to give us that as the homework, and I want to see it by tomorrow. This is different from what we have in our task, but I'm going to add it inside of our task. But this particular one, I want it by, okay, tomorrow is Saturday. I want it between tomorrow and Sunday, which means on Monday will be late, right? Monday will be late. I'm not going to review it from Monday. I'm only going to review it between tomorrow and Sunday. You have till Sunday, 11:59 p.m. That's fair enough. Okay, so I will send it to our GitHub. So this is where I'm going to end the meet. I'm going to end the meet. So do we have any questions? Okay, Philmon, please. Ask your question.
Hello?
Okay, hello.
Yeah, last time you gave us a tasks to do from your repository. I
Sorry,
forked your repository. I forked your repository last time.
Okay.
I did the tasks, but I couldn't what? Send them to you. I don't know how I should do it.
Okay. Okay. Always, I suggest that whenever you have that challenge, you should watch the video we did on the session last, the ending part, because I always show how you fork the repository, clone it, and then create a pull request. So I'll just take us over that again. Okay, so the link to this repository is already in your groups, in your individual groups. So once you click on that link, it brings you to my own profile, right? To bring you to my own profile, this particular interface you're seeing here. So the first thing you want to do is to click on this fork repository. The reason I cannot do this because I'm the owner of the repository, so I can't fork my own repository. But for you, when you click on this, I showed us just in the previous tutorial or the previous class with another account how you could do this. So just click on this, and then it will bring up another interface where it will ask you to input the name of the repository. Don't change the name, just scroll down, and you'll see where it's written create fork or fork repository, something like that. Just click on that, and that's all. You're going to have a copy of this repository in your own profile. So on your own profile there, what you are going to do next is to clone it to your local machine, either you're using Ubuntu, Git Bash, wherever you're working, any terminal at all. So or maybe VS Code, something more GUI. So you click on this code here, copy this URL. The one you should copy should be the one on your own profile, not the one on my own profile. Okay, so you click on this to copy. We already know how to clone. To clone is, I'll just clear all of this. To clone is git clone, and then you paste that URL you copied and just hit enter. It will clone the repository. Then after cloning, of course, you already know all the techniques in this. You CD into C programming tutorial, and then you hit enter. You are now inside of C programming tutorial. If you list it, you'll see all the files. But we have another folder, they name tags. You CD into tags, right? Tags is caps lock. Be careful. So you hit enter. You're now inside of tags. If you list it, you see the tags, right? Now you go on to VI and maybe you attempt tags 1 or tags 002 or tags fruit bowel, as I'm going to add this evening. Tags fruit bowel. Hit enter and then it opens up. Now some of you usually clean the tags, the question I give there. Please don't clean it, because if you clean it, how then will I know what I asked you to do? It is written above there that write your codes after the comment. So when you see the comment, you just hit enter. Below the comment, you start writing your main function, and then you start to write your code. Okay, so after doing that, you save your code, and then you come out. And something I missed, please, whenever you CD into your C programming tutorial, the first thing you should do is identity update, which is git config global user dot name, and then you put your username in quotes, or you have user.email, you put your email address, but not in quotes this time around. Okay, so that is how you should do it. If you don't do this identity update, I'm afraid you may not be able to push your tags. It will flag an error that you don't have access to the repository. So, or even if you're able to push, it's not going to push with your own name to show an unknown author. That's why you are always to. Okay, then after you've done that, after you've done the tags, you git add, you commit, and you push. What you need to do next is to come to that repository on your own profile and create a pull request. What is a pull request? A pull request is basically you notifying the owner of the repository that, okay, I've done something on your repository, so please check it. So when you create a pull request, that will receive a notification that you have changed or made some changes. I'll just come and check it. So how do you create a pull request? Just click on new pull request. This is my repository, so I can't go on to create a pull request on my repository. But just click on it, and then the prompt it gives you is explanatory enough. But on the description, please tell me the tasks you have done. For example, look at this person says task 2 and task 3, clear enough. Task 2 and task 3 completed. Task 002, solutions to tasks, that was not clear enough. Task for review, that was not clear enough. Or perhaps they did all of them, I believe. That's what Dave or Shay did. So please, on the description, tell me the tasks you've done. So I'll just go on to say, okay, this is what you did. And just go on to review you. That is what you should do. Napoli, was it Napoli? Philmon. Philmon, do you understand?
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. So, okay. Ufoma Max, ask a question. Ufoma, you there? You might want to unmute your mic. Click on this button. It may be showing red on yours. Okay, I'll just move forward. Folakemi, please ask your question.
Yes, please, how come I don't see the link to the videos and the recorded session? Because
Which of the Which of the groups are you?
I don't even know. I am not in any. I think which group am I here?
Wow.
I don't know that it's not. Check. Probably didn't add me to this thing, but I know I'm in the general group. Software engineering, that's it.
Software. Software engineering is the announcement group. There are other groups. It's a community, so there are other groups. Okay. You can inbox me. You can signify and inbox me on WhatsApp, and then I will add you to a group depending on the cohorts that you are in.
And what?
Or 12. Okay, inbox me on WhatsApp so that I could give you the link or add you to the group.
Thank you.
Okay. Please ask your question.
Thank you. I wanted to ask, so once you've reviewed, thank you again for the review. I got it, the feedback. So I wanted to ask, once we get feedback, do we fix and send it back, or is it just for us to now just know and note down?
Okay, if you get a feedback, like for some of you, I don't know, I said, what if you try implementing a particular feature, right? You could implement it and send it back so that I will see if you actually did it well. Okay, maybe there's another thing I might want to show you again. This is how we learn. So from there, you get to see other features you could add to your code.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
I've seen a lot of things how it kind of wow, man, I need to get back. So I just need a refresher for the beginning again. I just joined recently about this year, and the barely started about 2 weeks now. I really need a refresher. I need you to put me in the code. Yeah, I could start off with everything coding. But I'm really into the coding thing. I'm very interested. Kudos to you, bro. Flabberwave. Well done.
Okay, I appreciate it. Okay, so please, which of the groups are you?
I will WhatsApp them. I think they're indicating general thing.
Okay, no problems. Actually, we've been having we had sessions for cohort 11 like this throughout their C, and it has been going well. So this is for cohort 12 and 13 too. So it's also a refresher for you too, as you said. So you could just be attending too. Okay, but you could also inbox me on WhatsApp, and then we could have a conversation.
Okay, better.
Okay. Appreciate you too. Okay, thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those who joined on from Slack, okay, so this is my number on WhatsApp in case maybe you want to inbox me on WhatsApp. This is my name on Slack, David Inyene, in case you Slack whenever I have a chance to. So I believe we've covered everything we needed to do, and I want to appreciate everybody for coming out. Please, I'm going to add this at the end of today. I don't know the exact time, but at the end of today, we should have from this to this, which I'm expecting at least 11:59 on Sunday. Okay, then these other tasks, please, if you have not done them, I'm not going to force you to do it, but this is the only way I can monitor that you are actually doing something, and then I will keep on referring more things to you. So these are our tasks. And then I said we should do tasks 2, 3, day before yesterday, and yesterday I said 4 and 6, or 4, 5, and 6. Some persons have done it, have received theirs, and for some others, I don't know what happened, but you could take your time too to do it. So I appreciate everybody for being out here. But before I end the session, I want to appreciate Justice Obasi. He's one of our seniors. He has been coming out. In fact, he took the first session on this particular programming. He's here to make sure that we have a recorded session of this. He's one making all that possible. I'm sure all of you, most of us who don't attend or who comes late, usually have links to put these videos to refresh us. So Justice, we appreciate you for all you do for us. Please, if you don't mind, unmute your mic and say hi to the team again.
Hi everyone, and thank you for having me.
Okay, we appreciate you a lot, and thank you. And to all of you that came out and stayed till the end, I want to appreciate you. That shows that we really want to learn and we are working. So thank you everybody for coming out. Till next time, I want to always advise us, please don't focus on your projects and deadlines. Rather, focus on understanding the concept, because in the real life world, nobody's going to give you tasks to solve, but rather it's the concept that you understand clearly. So just like what we did here, when you understand the concept, you could implement it in any way you want to implement it, right? So I'm having some hands up again. I will just, I believe this is the old one. So Philmon, go on, please.
Yeah, excuse me. I just wanted to ask that for the project, the next project you're going to give us, you're also going to add it to the repository.
Yes, of course. For every of our session, I add something to the repository.
So do I have to fork it again?
Oh, no, you don't have to fork the repository again. Okay, when I add the fruit bowel and other of those tags, what you are going to do is, on your own profile, when you come here, you'll see this code, and then below this code, you'll see something like sync repository. Click on that sync, and then to bring out another prompt, you click on update. Now it will update the repository to how mine is. Then you just go to your own repo or to your Git bash or terminal, wherever you work, and do git pull to get all the changes down. That is all you need to do.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. So again, I want to appreciate you for coming out here. Okay. So we have one of our seniors here, Abdul Hamid Sanusi. He was the one who took us on if else that something happened, but I don't know what happened, maybe network or something like that. So he just left the meet. But that day was a success anyway. So thank you guys for coming out. Till next time, peace. You can unmute your mics now and tell your friends good night and goodbye. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you so much. Good night.